Hello, my name is Megan Nagus, and today I will be talking about how negative stigma surrounding mental illness has prevented people from seeking treatment. Mental illness is defined as the wide range of conditions that affect mood, thinking, and behavior. These conditions can be depression, anxiety, PTSD, schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, or any other disorder that I haven't said otherwise. Mental illnesses affect millions of Americans every year. I would know. Most of my family members, including myself, suffer from a mental illness. And while families like mine try to cope and understand these disorders, society can often form negative ideas or social stigmas about mental illness. Social stigma is the disapproval or discrimination against people of a certain category or an idea. Stigma can be related to health, gender, culture, race, or in this case, mental illnesses. And furthermore, many stereotypes surrounding mental illnesses can include things like the idea that the mentally ill are dangerous or violent, that they're faking it, or that their condition is just a phase, or that it's something they have control over, when in fact they do not. According to the National Alliance on Mental Illness, one serious effect of stigma around mental disorders is that 2/3 of the affected population do not seek help because of stigma, fear of discrimination, disclosure, or rejection. And according to the Surgeon General's report on mental illness, in its most severe form, mental health stigma can prevent people from socializing and working with, including renting to or hiring people with mental illnesses that are very severe, such as schizophrenia. Because of the negative stigma that surrounds mental illnesses, it can cause even more negative stigma regarding events such as mass shootings, substance abuse, and suicides. Mass shootings are almost an everyday occurrence in today's society, and some people blame mental illnesses for the actions of the shooters. But according to Jeffrey Swanson, a professor of psychiatry and behavioral sciences at Duke University who specializes in gun violence and mental illness, conducted a study, and it concluded that only 4% of gun and other violence is traceable to schizophrenia, bipolar disorder, and depression, the three common health conditions most frequently found in violent incidents. While mass shootings are very devastating, but when the media puts the blame on mental illness, it can cause society to think that all mentally ill people are dangerous or psychotic. But a study that was conducted by the Forensic Psychiatry Program and Clinic of the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill School of Medicine, concluded that severe mental illness does not independently predict future violent behavior. These findings challenge the perceptions that mental illness is the leading cause of violence in general populations. Still, people with mental illnesses did report violence more often, largely because they showed factors associated with violence. Consequently, understanding the link between violence and mental disorder requires consideration of its association with other variables such as environmental stressors, history of violence, and substance abuse. And substance abuse is defined as the misuse of a drug or substance. Some of the most commonly misused drugs are alcohol, marijuana, opioids, cocaine, depressants, heroin, or inhalants. And according to the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration, it says on their webpage that the mental disorders frequently co-occur with each other and substance use disorders. Substance abuse and addiction can be considered a mental illness. And according to a study conducted by Johns Hopkins Bloomberg School of Public Health, the general public was more likely to have negative attitudes towards people who abuse drugs than those who were dealing with mental illnesses. And additionally, researchers found that people don't generally support insurance, housing, or employment benefits that allow people who are dependent on drugs to live and work. And while there's stigma surrounding mental illness and its relation to violence and substance abuse, there is also negative stigma regarding suicide as well. According to a set of statistics provided by the American Foundation for Suicide Prevention, or the AFSP, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States, and every year, 44,695 people take their own lives. There are many factors that can contribute to a person's decision to commit suicide. According to the CDC, these factors can include family history of suicide or child maltreatment, a history of previous suicide attempts or mental disorders, particularly depression or alcohol abuse, feelings of hopelessness, isolation or a feeling of being closed off from people, barriers to accessing mental health treatment, and the unwillingness to seek help due to the stigma attached to mental health, substance abuse disorders, or to suicidal thoughts. In conclusion, the negative stigma that surrounds people with mental illnesses has not only caused a rift between society, but has greatly impacted everyone due to the fact that negative stigma surrounding mass shootings, suicides, and the misuse of substances can make a person less willing to seek help. So you may be wondering, what can I do to stop the stigma from spreading? The spread of negative stigma can stop, starting with you. You can do the additional research and educate yourself on the various aspects of mental illnesses, including symptoms and treatment options. The more you know about it, the easier it'll be for you to stop the stigma. You can also talk to other people with mental illnesses as if they were a person. Treat them with the respect and dignity that they deserve. You don't have to relate to what they're going through, but you can try to understand and be there for them when they need your help. Don't isolate yourself from them, and don't allow them to isolate themselves from you. Encourage them to seek help. If we can just learn to look past the illness, then maybe we can see the person for who they really are. And maybe, just maybe, we can stop the stigma for good.